All right, the first thing we are going to do a multi-state object as a simple photo slideshow, we are going to drag and drop all of our photos in, and they need to be all the same exact size. That works best. So I'm going to select them all, and they need to be on top of each other perfectly. So I'm going to come over here to and align horizontal centers, and then align vertical centers. And now they are perfectly on top of each other. Now I'm going to drag these and kind of take them into the center, roughly, so it looks nice. And just in this case, I'm going to put the left arrow over here and the right arrow over here. And you can make these, or you can just do a, a search like I did. And half the battle is having cool looking stuff, and that's step one. Next thing I'm going to do is to make a multi-state object, and that just means that I'm going to have a bunch of layers, so to speak. So I'm going to click here and drag to select all of the photos at one time. Then I'm going to, and it's best to have digital publishing as my setup selected, or I can come over here and go into Window, Interactive Object States. But we want this Object States window, and we're going to click on this thing down here, Convert Selection to Multi-State Object. Okay? And so that's going to convert all of them. And notice how it gives all of them a state, and I'm going to name this Drum Endorsements. Okay, and each of them has a state. Okay, state 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I was doing something complicated, I might give them all names, like their last name or something. But that's all we have to do right now. So now we have a multi-state object named Drum Endorsements. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is to convert these JPEGs into buttons so I can program them. So I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to say Object, Interactive, Convert to Button. Okay, I'm going to call this Right Button. Okay, and I'll come over here and I'll do the same thing, Interactive, Convert to Button. And I'm going to call that Left Button. Okay, now that this is selected, you'll notice there's a little button icon there on both of them. So when you select it, when you have the buttons and forms tool up, and again, you can find that in digital publishing. It's the easiest way to get there. Otherwise, you come up here and go to the interactive window. When I click on it, I can choose an action. So the action is go to next state, go to previous state, or I can go to state 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the last name, or whatever. So you can pretty much program these to do anything you want. Now notice you got a bunch of stuff up here too that some of this doesn't apply to iPad stuff. It only applies to interactive digital publishing and not to iPad. So we're going to figure that out. But for now, I'm just going to do something really simple. I'm going to say go to next state. Okay? And because there's only one state, multi-state object, it's going to ask, well, what multi-state object? I only have one, and that's drum endorsements. So that's really easy. So now I'm going to go back here, and I will trigger the left button to on release or tap, go to previous state. Okay? Now that being said, so now that these programs are set up, I can view it in a SWF viewer or a flash viewer. So I do Shift Command Return, and it pulls up a preview. Okay, it's a very small preview. And so you'll see I can click right, and you'll notice this one's screwed up because it's outside the frame. So that wasn't cropped properly. So now I have to go back and fix it, which I don't know how to actually do. I would just fix it and create a new multi-state object. That's something else I got to figure out. Anyways, but these basically are working. So other than I wasn't quite prepped properly. So that's how to create a basic slideshow in multi-state objects. Now, the other thing you can do is just get some buttons, let's say some circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that way someone could not necessarily have to go to the next element, but you can program each of these individually and have them go to specific states. So there you have more control. The other little twist on this is to have an object, let's say a roller skate, and then you would put clear buttons or slightly opaque buttons throughout this. And in doing so, you would then have text change. And I'll show you an example of that, but it's all the same type of programming. It's just different buttons doing different things in different places.